Have you ever been in a conversation where the other person, quite frankly, looks just out of it, not invested, quite bored, and overall just not really thrilled to be talking to you? Well, you could be doing things that you don't even know that are killing your conversations. And in this video, I'll be sharing 4 things that you could be doing that completely kill a conversation. By acknowledging these blind spots and improving accordingly, you will definitely see your conversations improving as a whole. Now, the first thing that could be absolutely killing your conversations is... Oh, hold on. Sorry, what was I saying? Oh yeah, checking your phone mid-conversation. I know this is a little obvious, but this little action goes a long way in killing your conversations. What you're basically doing is you're listening and you're giving more attention to your phone or your notifications on your phone more than the person that you were talking to. I know some of you might be thinking, well, it's just a really quick look, or hey, I just gotta check to see if there's anything important, or gotta see if I got a message or something. Even if it's just a little peek of 1 second at the phone, it feels like you don't really care enough about the conversation or don't really care enough about the other person even to not get distracted and not have your focus being pulled away so easily. And I'm sure that you've probably seen this in a certain conversation, like let's just say the other person's talking and you just check your phone for a split second, see if you have like a message or maybe you're expecting a call or something like that. You could see the look and the kind of shift in demeanor in the other person. And I do believe that it can kill the mood and the flow and the focus and overall just kill the conversation in general. The way I see it is that your phone notifications or your phone in general is more important than the conversation that you're having with that person. Just having that undivided attention from the other person just really makes you feel good, and it makes you feel like you're being listened to and it feels like you're being cared for. There's nothing like that undivided attention that you'd get from another person listening to you. So why not do it for them as well? And this is a little bit of a sub point, but it definitely relates to this topic of checking your phone as well. And it's this: having an AirPod or an earphone in while you're talking to that person. Just like I was talking about before, just giving that undivided attention to that other person is very valuable and very important to all of us. And having an AirPod in, whether it be like a podcast or you're just listening to music in the background.
That I'm not crazy when I knew I wasn't crazy.
Right. One, your attention is divided between the background music and the other person, and 2, the other person can perceive that as you're not fully listening to them with 2 open ears and giving that full attention to them. Now this point actually rolls very nicely into this next one, which is that UFO? What the heck is that light? Letting your eyes wander. Now this is very subtle, and to be fair, I am not perfect in this. I also do this from time to time, but nonetheless, looking elsewhere when you're in a conversation with someone. When you do this, what this kind of shows the other person is that you're not very focused or invested or really care about what the other person is saying. Like, it kind of shows like, oh, you're trying to look for somewhere else that is more engaging than this conversation that's happening right now. And sometimes the conversation might actually be boring and maybe you want to end that conversation. But if the conversation is not boring and you actually do care about the person and the conversation that's happening in front of you, then looking elsewhere can definitely be one of those things that can absolutely kill the conversation. Now, what I'm not saying is to hold your eye contact and just have a staring contest with the person that's in front of you. That would be weird and that would be creepy. I think we can all agree with that. But just don't have a staring contest with the other person. Obviously, of course, it's okay to look away and then look back and then look away and look back from time to time. But just like the last point, you want to have your attention focused on the other person and on the conversation that you're having with the other person. Now, these next 2 I've honestly never heard anyone else talk about, but number 3, breathing deeply during the conversation. What do I mean by this? It's like those breaths that you take when you're kind of like, when is this gonna be over? Kind of bracing yourself in the middle of the lecture. Those breaths that you take when you're like, when is this guy gonna stop talking? Kind of like almost bearing with the conversation as if you're like uncomfortable and you're like, the guy's talking too much or something. I remember noticing myself doing that, and I consciously made sure that I'm not taking those type of breaths that could be interpreted as like, when is this guy gonna stop talking type of thing. I remember making a conscious decision not to do that because I knew how I felt when other people did that, and it felt like, oh man, I must be really boring or something, you know. I don't want to make other people feel like that. So I tried to make myself not do that. Tried to get out of the habit of doing that. And if I didn't need to take deep breaths, then save it for after the conversation, I guess. Now, like I said, with these last two, I've never heard anyone talking about this, but another conversation killer is this. Biting your lip or biting the inside of your mouth. Kind of weird, right? Now, I've never heard anyone talk about this, but what I notice is that it kind of gives off the signal of like nervousness or discomfort. And to be fair, I do it sometimes, I notice. And for me personally, I do it because sometimes my lips are just so dry and just chapped, and maybe, you know, that reminds me, maybe I should go put on some chapstick right now. I just have like a bad habit of doing it. Just doing that like inward lip bite too. Just when someone's talking to me, maybe when I notice that when I do it when I'm thinking too, when someone is talking to me, like. But I noticed that it can signal this like nervousness, this anxiousness, and the best way to explain it is that it signals discomfort. Like you're uncomfortable with talking with the other person. Now, in a conversation with someone, this could signal something that you don't want. I would avoid this, honestly. If you have a bad habit like me, maybe carry some chapstick or something. And these things can definitely kill the conversation or just bring the conversation down. I don't want to give people that feeling of I'm uncomfortable with talking to them, which is definitely not something that we want in our conversations. Anything that does any of these two things derails the conversation and like takes your attention away from the person, and anything that shows the other person that maybe you don't want to be talking to them. Anything that does either of those two things, I would say is a big no-no. In this video, I go into things that you shouldn't do when talking to someone. But how about things that you should do and will get people to like you? Well, for that, definitely check out this video where I go into exactly that.